The most recent version of PHP, as of the time of this recording, is PHP 5.6. You can get the Windows binaries for PHP from this webpage at windows.php.net/download. There are multiple packages available for each PHP version. You'll find PHP 5.6 at the top, and then PHP 5.5, 5.4, and so on. I'll only be dealing with the most recent version here. There are versions for 32-bit and 64-bit Windows, and there are both non-thread safe and thread safe versions. Even though I'm working on 64-bit Windows, I'm going to be using the 32-bit version of PHP. It matches the 32-bit version of Apache that I already installed, and most importantly, the 64-bit builds are marked as experimental. By using the 32-bit versions, you'll be using a version that's stable. Download the thread-safe version. That's the version that's compatible with Apache. I'm using this file, vc11x86 thread-safe. It downloads as a zip archive file. Just as with Apache, you can install it by simply extracting it to your hard disk. I've already downloaded it to my hard disk. This zip archive does not contain a top-level folder. Its files are just children of the archive itself. So when you extract it, you'll need to create a folder to contain the files. The safest way is to right-click on the zip file and then choose Extract All and type the name of the folder that you want to extract to. I'm creating a folder called C:\PHP, and I'll click Extract. There aren't that many files, so it should just take a few moments to complete the installation. After the files have been extracted, Windows Explorer or File Explorer should open to show you the new folder. If it doesn't, open it yourself, and scroll down toward the bottom. You'll find this file, php5 apache2_4.dll. This is a DLL that's used to connect to Apache at runtime. You'll need to know the name of that file and its location to connect Apache and PHP to each other. Now, to make it work all together, you'll need to add some information to your Apache configuration file. Go to your Apache installation folder. I installed Apache to C:\Apache. Then go to the conf folder. That's where your configuration files are. Then open the file httpd.conf in any text editor, and then scroll down all the way to the bottom. I'll be adding 3 new directives to this file. Now it takes a bit of typing, so to make this a little bit easier, I've included a file in the exercise files. I'll go to the exercise files folder, then to the Apache subfolder, and I'll open this file. Then I'll select and copy all 3 lines, and then I'll go back to my httpd configuration file, and I'll paste those lines into place at the bottom of the file. There are 3 directives. The load module directive loads that DLL I described. Notice that the name and location of the DLL are included. If you installed Apache somewhere else on your hard disk, change this line to match your installation folder. The add handler directive says that when a file with the .php file extension is requested, this is its MIME type. This is how we report to the browser what's being processed on the server. And finally, php ini-dir is a directive that says where the php.ini configuration file is stored. This is very important. It's how you configure PHP, and Apache needs to know where it is. Once again, I've included the name of the folder. I'm going to conform those 2 lines so they both use C in uppercase, but they'll work either way. Notice I don't have a trailing slash, and I've also used a / instead of a / in this directive. Now, that file, php.ini, isn't created for you automatically in PHP 5.6. You have to create it yourself. But rather than typing it from scratch, we're going to use an existing version. I'll go to my /PHP folder, and I'll scroll down a bit, and I'll see that there are two INI files here. One is called php.ini development, and the other is called php.ini production. I'm going to use the development version. It has settings that are appropriate for development on a local computer. I'll copy and paste the file with Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V. Then I'll go to the new version and I'll name it php.ini. This is the required name of the PHP configuration file. On most Windows computers, when you do this, the .ini extension will be hidden by default, but it's there. If you click on the file and then press Alt-Enter to look at the file properties, you'll see that the file type is configuration settings with an extension of .ini. Now I'm finally ready to test. I'll need a simple PHP script, and I've provided it in the free exercise files that accompany the course. It's in the PHP subfolder, and it's named phpinfo.php. Once again, I'll look at the properties and verify the PHP file extension. Then I'll open the file in a text editor. It has a simple PHP command, phpinfo. This command outputs information about the current PHP installation. I'll close the text editor, then I'll copy the file to the clipboard, and then I'll go back to my Apache folder. And from there, I'll go to htdocs. This is my document root folder when working with the individual Windows installation. And I'll paste that phpinfo.php file into place. So all my configurations are done, and I've placed a PHP script that I can use to test. Now, I need to make sure that Apache is running. If you're running from a command prompt like I am, go there now. And if you're already running Apache, press Ctrl-C to stop it. And then type httpd to start it up again. If you're running Apache as a Windows service, go to the Control panel and restart it from there. Then go to a browser and navigate to the URL localhost/phpinfo.php. And you should see this output. There's a lot of information here, but most importantly, take a look at your loaded configuration file and verify that it displays as :php\php.ini. You'll also see a setting called configuration file path, but you can ignore that. If you see this under loaded configuration file, then you know that that's the initialization file that you're using for your copy of PHP. So if that's all working, you're ready to go to the next step, installing MySQL.